Adam Guitel was writing original music and lyrics. Producers were lined up with serious financial commitments. Theater bookings were being negotiated. Everything was perfectly set for a major theatrical production. Then, William Goldman made an absolutely insane demand, 75% of the author's share, a request so outrageous it killed the entire production instantly. Industry professionals were shocked by his greed and inflexibility. His obsessively protective stance over The Princess Bride has systematically destroyed multiple revival attempts, sequel discussions, and adaptation opportunities. The man who created this beloved story has also become its biggest obstacle to expansion.
I've never seen a sequel.
Six-fingered man returned and demanded it. Father refused. Without a word, the six-fingered man slashed him through the heart.
Fact 2. Goldman's iron grip nearly killed the project. William Goldman was notoriously protective of his creation, and by protective, I mean absolutely ruthless about script changes that bordered on professional sabotage. He and Rob Reiner had multiple heated conferences where Goldman would shut down any deviation from his original vision with legendary stubbornness. Other writers brought in for rewrites? Absolutely not allowed. Studio notes and executive suggestions? Rejected outright without consideration. Focus group feedback completely ignored. This was an artistic collaboration. It was Goldman's way or the highway, take it or leave it. Somehow, Reiner managed to work with the literary legend without getting fired, walking away, or having a complete creative breakdown in the process.
Go on, Boyd. Fill these with water. Please.
As you wish.
Fact 3. Development. Hell for over a decade. Goldman's screenplay sat collecting dust for more than 10 years because every studio executive asked the same question. What the hell is this supposed to be? The meta-narrative structure, a grandfather reading to his sick grandson, was considered absolute box office poison by Hollywood standards. Too confusing for mainstream audiences, they said. Too risky for shareholders. Too unconventional for proven formulas. Multiple studios passed without even considering it seriously. Directors walked away after reading the first act. Agents wouldn't return Goldman's calls about the project. It was the script nobody wanted to touch, the literary equivalent of cinematic kryptonite, until Rob Reiner said yes and changed everything forever.
My father's final words were, "Love her as I loved her, and there will be joy. I present to you your queen."
Fact 4. Cast members took massive pay cuts. The film's budget was so desperately tight that major actors had to slash their usual fees just to get the movie made. This wasn't some indie passion project shot in someone's garage. It was a major studio release running on absolute financial fumes and creative prayers. Creative compromises happened daily during production. Locations were severely limited to save money. Special effects were kept minimal and practical. Costume budgets were slashed. Everything had to be done cheaper, faster, and better than industry standards typically allowed. The micro-budget approach forced innovation and authenticity, which might be exactly why the movie feels so genuine and timeless compared to bigger-budget fantasy films of the era.
Wesley, will you ever forgive me?
What hideous sin have you committed lately?
I got married. I didn't want to. It all happened so fast.
Never happened.
But it did. I was there. This old man said man and wife.
Did you say I do?
Fact 5. The box office disaster nobody saw coming. The Princess Bride was initially a massive flop. We're talking $30.8 million on a $16 million budget, which sounds decent until you realize studios expected way more from a fairy tale adventure in 1987's action-heavy marketplace. The problem? Nobody knew what genre it belonged to. Too weird for action fans who wanted Rambo. Too violent for kids expecting Disney magic. Too romantic for comedy lovers wanting pure laughs. It was cinematic limbo, confusing audiences and terrifying executives. Studios had zero faith in William Goldman's vision of a meta-narrative fairy tale. Marketing departments couldn't figure out how to sell it. Theater owners didn't know which audiences to target. And honestly, they had good reason to be terrified of this genre-defying experiment.
Once the crew believed, he left the ship and I have been Roberts ever since. Except now that we're together, I shall retire and hand the name over to someone else. Is everything clear to you?
Fact 6. Christopher Guest knocked Carrie Elwest unconscious. The climactic sword fight between Westley and Count Rugen wasn't looking authentic or dramatic enough for Rob Reiner's vision, so Carrie Elwest made a dangerous decision. He told Christopher Guest to actually hit him with the sword hilt just once to make the choreography look genuinely realistic. Guest obliged without hesitation. The next thing Elwest clearly remembers is waking up confused in a hospital bed with a serious head injury and no memory of the incident. What millions of viewers see in the final movie, Wesley being violently knocked unconscious by Count Rugen, is actually Carrie Elwest losing consciousness from a real, uncontrolled blow to his head. Method acting taken way too far, resulting in genuine medical emergency.
Where am I?
The pit of despair. And don't dream of being rescued either. The only way in is secret.
Fact 7. Mandy Patinkin slapped Andre the Giant. During an early rehearsal session, Mandy Patinkin grew increasingly frustrated with Andre the Giant's slow, deliberate line delivery. So what did this relatively small theater actor do? He walked right up and slapped a 7'4" professional wrestler who weighed over 500 pounds. There was this absolutely terrifying moment where Andre just stopped everything and processed what had just happened. The entire set went dead silent. Everyone held their breath, expecting the gentle giant to absolutely crush Patinkin like an annoying insect. Instead, Andre's line reading improved immediately, and he never retaliated. Imagine having either the incredible courage or mind-boggling stupidity to physically discipline Andre the Giant and somehow live to tell about it successfully.
No. It's you.
You don't smell so good either.
Perhaps not.
Fact 8. Billy Crystal's improvisation injured his co-stars. Rob Reiner had to physically leave the film set during Billy Crystal's scenes because he was laughing so uncontrollably hard that he became genuinely nauseous and couldn't function as a director. But the physical comedy casualties didn't stop there. Mandy Patinkin actually bruised one of his ribs, trying desperately not to laugh during his scenes with Crystal's improvised Miracle Max character. The spontaneous comedy was so intense and relentless that it caused real physical damage to the other actors trying to maintain their composure professionally. Crystal's comedic genius was literally dangerous to be around during filming. His unscripted routines and character voices nearly broke his fellow actors, both mentally and physically. Method comedy taken to an almost hazardous extreme.
You the Miracle Max who worked for the king all those years?
King's stinking son fired me, and thank you so much for bringing up such a painful subject. We're closed!
Fact 9. Andre the Giant, unofficial set therapist. Despite being in constant debilitating physical pain from his deteriorating condition, Andre the Giant somehow became the emotional and spiritual center of the entire production. Cast members would actively seek him out for personal advice, emotional comfort, and genuine fatherly guidance during difficult moments. This 500-pound professional wrestler, who could have easily been intimidating or unapproachable, instead spent his energy listening to everyone's problems with infinite patience. He offered wisdom, kept morale high during grueling shoots, and created a sense of family among the cast and crew. The man was literally dying from his medical condition, but he dedicated his remaining strength to taking care of everyone else around him. Pure, selfless magic that defined the entire filming experience.
You be careful. People in masks cannot be trusted.
I'm waiting!
Fact 10. Andre was literally falling apart. Andre the Giant had undergone major spinal surgery just before filming began, leaving him in constant, excruciating pain throughout the entire production. Despite his legendary reputation for superhuman strength, he physically couldn't support Carrie Elwest's weight during their crucial fight scenes, or safely carry Robin Wright during romantic moments. The gentle giant was systematically being destroyed by his acromegaly condition, which was causing his bones and organs to grow uncontrollably. Every day on set was a painful struggle against his failing body, but he never complained or asked for special treatment. Every single scene featuring Andre became a desperate race against time, and his rapidly deteriorating health condition that everyone knew would eventually
landmass.
Fact 11. The knockout punch that made the final cut. We already mentioned Carrie Elves getting seriously knocked unconscious by Christopher Guest, but here's the truly insane part. Rob Reiner decided to keep that dangerous, uncontrolled take in the final movie release because it looked so authentically brutal and realistic. What millions of audiences worldwide see as brilliant, convincing acting is actually a man genuinely losing consciousness on camera from an accidental head injury. The authentic reaction, the way his body goes completely limp, the unfocused eyes, every detail is medically real. Sometimes the most powerful performances happen when actors aren't actually performing at all. The line between reality and fiction completely disappeared in that moment, creating an unforgettable scene through actual medical emergency rather than theatrical technique.
Technicality that will shortly be remedied. But first things first.
I'll explain, and I'll use small words so that you'll be sure to understand, you warthog-faced buffoon.
Fact 12. The real emotion behind Inigo's revenge. When Mandy Patinkin delivered the iconic, "Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya" speech, he was channeling something devastatingly personal, his father's recent death from cancer, which had left him emotionally raw and seeking his own form of closure. Every single word of that revenge monologue carried genuine grief, rage, and unresolved pain. This wasn't just professional acting. It was cathartic therapy disguised as a fairy tale moment, with Patinkin using his character's quest for justice to process his own loss. Patinkin was essentially saying goodbye to his own father through Inigo's desperate quest for justice and meaning.
Hello! My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die! No!
Fact 13. Andre's legendary digestive issues. Andre the Giant's gastrointestinal problems were so monumentally powerful and disruptive that they would literally clear entire sections of the film set, forcing production delays while cast and crew evacuated to breathable areas. We're not talking about normal human digestive issues here. This was weaponized biological warfare that could stop a major Hollywood production in its tracks. Andre's stomach condition was apparently as legendary and overwhelming as his wrestling career and physical presence. Cast members developed a running joke that Andre's digestive system posed a more immediate threat to their safety than any sword fight, fire swamp, or dangerous stunt sequence in the entire movie. The Gentle Giant's internal plumbing became an unofficial cast member that nobody wanted to work with closely.
Who are you?
I'm no one to be trifled with. That is all you ever need know.
All that time it was Shortcut that was poisoned.
They were both poisoned. I spent the last few years building up an immunity to iocane powder.
Fact 14. The Miracle Max scene was pure improvisation. The beloved Mostly Dead scene, featuring Billy Crystal and Carol Kane as Miracle Max and his wife, contained virtually no material from William Goldman's original, carefully crafted screenplay. Their entire Yiddish-inflected comedy routine was completely spontaneous improvisation. What made the final theatrical cut was pure, unscripted comedic gold. Two legendary comedy performers riffing off each other with zero preparation, no rehearsal, and complete creative freedom to explore their characters organically. Goldman's meticulously written dialogue took a complete back seat to Crystal and Kane's natural comedic chemistry and improvisational skills. The scene became a masterclass in spontaneous character development through pure collaborative creativity.
You mean wish to surrender to me? Very well, accept.
I tell you once again, surrender.
Will not happen.
For the last time, surrender!
Death first!
Will you promise not to hurt him?
Fact 15. The missing ending that tested poorly. William Goldman had written several additional scenes for the film's conclusion that would have provided more character development and plot resolution, but they were completely cut after testing disastrously with focus group audiences who demanded a cleaner, more traditionally satisfying fairy tale ending. We'll never know what Goldman's original, more complex vision looked like because those deleted scenes have been lost to Hollywood history and studio vault negligence. The footage may not even exist anymore after decades of studio reorganizations. The Princess Bride that millions love and quote endlessly might be significantly different from the version Goldman originally intended audiences to experience. Studio interference shaped the final product more than artistic vision.
And remember, this is for posterity, so be honest. How do you feel?
Fact 16. Inigo's line became a deathbed quote. Mandy Patinkin has been personally approached by countless fans over the decades whose dying relatives chose, "Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya," as their actual final words before passing away, creating deeply emotional connections between fiction and reality. A fictional revenge speech from a fantasy adventure movie has somehow transcended entertainment to become a real-world touchstone for people facing their own mortality and seeking closure, justice, or meaning in their final moments. The line has evolved far beyond its original context to become something profoundly deeper, a way for terminally ill people to confront their own metaphorical six-fingered men, whatever form their personal struggles, regrets, or unfinished business might take. Art, imitating life, imitating art in the most moving way possible.
You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Hello! My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Stop saying that!
Fact 17. VHS saved The Princess Bride. The film completely bombed in theaters with disappointing box office numbers. But then, something absolutely magical happened in the emerging home video market. Video rental stores couldn't keep The Princess Bride on their shelves. It was constantly rented out. An entire generation discovered this cinematic gem through obsessive VHS rentals and endless cable TV reruns. We watched it compulsively, rewound our favorite scenes until the tape wore out, memorized every single line of dialogue, and shared it with friends like a secret treasure. The Princess Bride became one of the first major movies in film history to achieve genuine classic status entirely through home video distribution rather than theatrical success.
So what happens now?
We face each other as God intended. Sportsmanlike. No trick, no weapons. Kill against, kill along.
You mean you'll put down your rock and I'll put down my sword and we'll try and kill each other like civilized people?
Fact 18. Andre's final bow. Andre the Giant died just 6 years after filming The Princess Bride in 1993, making his gentle paternal performance as Fezzik one of his final major acting roles, before his body completely succumbed to the acromegaly condition that had been slowly killing him. Cast reunions and anniversary celebrations are profoundly bittersweet affairs because the man who emotionally held everyone together during production is permanently gone. His absence casts a melancholy shadow over what should be joyful celebrations of the film's enduring popularity and cultural impact. Andre may have physically departed, but the warmth and protection he provided to cast, crew, and audiences continues to resonate decades later.
Nice one. Certainly does keep you on your toes. This will all soon be but a happy memory. Robert ship revenge. Thanked at the far end.
Fact 19. Christopher Guest's aristocratic authenticity. Count Rugen was intentionally based on real historical figures who used torture and violence as personal entertainment rather than political necessity. But here's the absolutely perfect casting detail that most people don't know. Christopher Guest's wife, Jamie Lee Curtis, holds an actual hereditary title and is technically a lady in British aristocracy. So who better to convincingly portray a sadistic, entitled nobleman than someone who's actually married into real nobility and understands the mindset from personal experience? Sometimes, reality provides the most effective character research possible. Guest didn't have to imagine what aristocratic entitlement looked like. He could observe it firsthand at family gatherings and social events, making his villainous portrayal unnervingly authentic.
I suggest a deal. You write 4 copies of a letter. I'll send my 4 fastest ship, 1 in each direction. Dread Pirate Roberts is always close to Florin this time of year. We'll run up the white flag and deliver your message.
Fact 20. As You Wish conquered modern weddings. Despite the original story context being about unrequited love, servitude, and a farm boy's desperate devotion to someone who do the most, did you know about Goldman's Broadway sabotage, Andre's heartbreaking final years, or that Christopher Guest literally knocked Carrie Elwest unconscious for real? As You Wish